Bring in outside advisor to President Obama and 32 Advisors founder and CEO Robert Wolf. Robert, good to see you.
Advisor to Wall Street Week. That's a big title.
That's a big title as well.
And a great contributor to Wall Street Week as well.
What do you anticipate today?
Well, I think it's going to be a blowout for Secretary Clinton. The SEC states will probably be a sweep. She'll win Texas, Virginia, Massachusetts will be close. Bernie will do very well in Vermont.
So it's over for Bernie Sanders, is what you're saying?
You know, you never like to say over, but I think it's going to be very, very tough to see with her delegate lead to see him come back. But listen, he has a narrative that's elevating, and people, you know, the more get out the vote, the better it will be for the Democratic Party.
What do you do with the $40 million if it's over?
You know, listen, I think he will continue to be in this campaign. I think he'll, you know, my guess is he'll have a real strong platform at the convention with Secretary Clinton as a candidate. But, you know, as a Democrat, you need to get out the vote. He is doing an incredible job with the millennials, and that hopefully will bode well for Secretary Clinton if he's part of, you know, that platform.
If Secretary Clinton wraps up the nomination soon, is she going to be able to fundraise on Wall Street and with financial interests through the rest of the campaign?
You know, I look at Wall Street and say that 30–40% are always Democrat, 30–40% are always Republican.
You think that's the number?
Yeah, and then the 20% lean one way or the other.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
In 08, it leaned Obama over McCain. In 12, it leaned Romney. So
But I'm really talking about from a PR perspective. Can she continue to fundraise on Wall Street after being criticized so harshly by Bernie Sanders and effectively by him for taking such big checks for her speeches and taking such big checks for her campaign?
Listen,
can she go into a general election doing that?
I think in the general election you are going to have to.
So she's going to keep taking money from Wall Street?
Well, you know, listen, I don't like to be labeled. I don't view Wall Street was a profession. I view myself as many other things outside of my profession.
Well, Anthony's at the head of Establishment Anonymous.
Listen, I hear you, but I think if you ask
I'm in Establishment Anonymous.
If you ask Anthony,
and Robert would be in Establishment Anonymous too if Bernie Sanders was the nominee for the Democrats.
I think if you ask Wall Street guys, they're not worrying about reg reform, where their vote's going. They're much more about Supreme Court and immigration, and I think a lot of them will say, you know what, I align with Secretary Clinton. And if it's versus Donald Trump, it will be a very interesting perspective.
But the answer to the question is she can and will raise money from the Wall Street financiers.
Listen, everyone is going to raise money in the general election.
Including Donald Trump.
You go where the money is.
You have to. I mean, it's going to probably cost $1 billion to run a general election.
You know what? I know you guys are salivating over the disarray that is the Republican Party, but you do, and this is a question, do you understand how formidable Donald Trump will be if he's the nominee against Hillary Clinton?
Well, first of all, I'm not salivating. Remember, we started at like 47% versus 47%, and you're fighting for 5%. So, you know, we already know that, for the most part, the map is within 10 swing states. There's no question Donald Trump is, you know, going to be a unique candidate. We've never seen someone like him before.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't underestimate someone who is willing to go into these barroom brawl environments and really be, you know, something probably Secretary Clinton has never really debated against.
Yeah, but she must be getting ready for a ballroom, you know, brawl of her own with, you know, knowing that this is going to be the head-to-head matchup. They're both going to have the mudslinging.
Yeah, listen,
she must be getting ready for that.
You know, my guess is she's still focusing on the primary, and I think you can start seeing the pivot the last 48 hours.
She pivoted after the victory in South Carolina.
Right,
she said tomorrow's the national campaign.
The last 48 hours or so, you could start seeing the pivot where, you know, America is great.